All right, good morning. For the record, I'm Chris Young, Chair of the HDC Sign Advisory Committee. Let's confirm access. Members, please respond with an aye when I call your name. We have Paul Wolf. I see you trying, Paul.
Aye.
Thanks. Ben Norman.
Aye.
And Mark Catone.
Aye.
And for staff, we have Nikki Sheriff.
Here.
This open meeting of the HDC's SAC is being conducted remotely, consistent with Governor Baker's executive order of March 12th, 2020. The order posted with the agenda materials for the meeting allow public bodies to convene remotely so long as public access to deliberations is reasonably provided. The meeting is convening via Zoom with video and audio recording available on the town's YouTube channel. We will feature public comment, and materials provided to members for the meeting or provided during the meeting are, unless otherwise noted, available on the town's website. During the meeting, I'll introduce agenda topics and speakers. Please remember to mute your Zoom audio until your name's called, and direct comments and questions through the chair to avoid crosstalk and the taking of minutes easier. Votes will be conducted by roll call. So let's move on to calling its meeting to order at 9:03 a.m. on Tuesday, July 29th, 2025. Do we have a motion to approve our agenda?
So moved.
Thanks, Mark. Thanks, Ben. Are you in favor?
Aye.
And Paul?
Aye.
And Ben?
Aye.
Great. Do we have we do not have minutes to review, is that correct? As I recall. Do we have any commissioner comments that would like to be made?
I got two quick things.
Thanks, Ben.
One, unfortunately, I have a 10 o'clock hard stop. I have to be somewhere at 10:15, so I only have an hour. And then also, they've been cutting countertops at this new restaurant, or desperately trying to create a new restaurant next to my office, and it's incredibly loud. So I'll be on mute a lot because they must have ordered the wrong countertops because they've been cutting them for 2 weeks straight. So anyway, I'll be on mute most of the time for that reason.
We'll look for you. Make some motions if you want us to get your attention. All right. Any other commissioner comments? Actually, Mark, if you wanted, Nikki, what did you say that we should discuss that under enforcement?
Yes,
Okay.
Mark can make his statement under enforcement, and if the member of the public is here, then public comment for that person.
Okay. Is anybody online for public comments not related to okay. Hello.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning. Please introduce yourself and feel free to make your comment.
Oh, okay, great. Thanks. Good morning. I'm Howard Matz, and I reside at 41 Chuck Hollow Road in Tom Nevers East. And I have been speaking with a number of my neighbors living in Tom Nevers East regarding the recent addition of numerous signs located on the verge in the neighborhood. The signs apparently were installed by the Tom Nevers Homeowners Association, which is called POTNY. A sizable group of my neighbors are very unhappy with the recent addition of these signs and find them to mar the character of the neighborhood, which has a rural feel. At a minimum, I find these signs to be gratuitous. I believe that the signage, which is oddly installed 8-foot posts with the signs mounted to the posts at 4 feet, to be inconsistent with HDC guidelines. I would appreciate the committee confirming that the signage is within the HDC's purview and to determine that POTNY should have submitted an application to the HDC for approval prior to installing this signage. If I'm correct, then I request that the HDC ask POTNY to submit an application regarding this signage. Personally, the consensus of the neighbors that I've spoken with find the signage additions to be a blemish on the rural character of the neighborhood and would prefer that the HDC not approve the application when submitted and to direct POTNY to remove these signs. Thank you very much and appreciate you hearing me.
All right, thank you. Is anybody else on the line for public comments? Okay, we're not able, because this wasn't on our agenda previous to the posting, we will have to discuss this later. We can't discuss this as a board right now. But we do hear your comment and we can take it into consideration. So thank you for that. Okay, were there any other commissioner comments that wanted to be made? Okay, so let's move on to the first order of business, which is the 4 North Water Street temporary banner. This is ratifying our temporary sign banner from 7/15. Nikki, can you explain just a little bit about that? It's a sort of an odd item for us, or it's a new item for us to have a ratification on the agenda. What do you need?
So you just need to make a new motion just stating that you're now ratifying the vote from the last meeting. I know Kevin, let me see. Well, Kevin isn't here.
But we still have 3 members that
We
can
still
vote.
have 3 that we could do. So proceed with the 3 that's, here that voted on the last one. So it'll be
Okay.
Catone, Wolf, and yourself.
Okay, so we had a motion to deny due to non-compliance, and you want us to just to ratify that?
Yes,
That denial.
for the record.
Okay, so can I have a motion to ratify our denial of 4 North Water Street's temporary banner?
So moved.
Thanks, Mark.
Second.
Paul, thank you. Paul, are you in favor?
Aye.
Mark?
Yes, aye.
I am as well. Okay. Thank you, guys. Ben, welcome back. So we have Kenneth Valero at 66 Old South Road. We have a wall sign for Russell Simpson Inc. Is Kara on the line? No? Okay, we can still review this. So this is 18 by 80, which is within the size guidelines. It looks like it's going where the old Berger and Fuller accounting office is, sort of the back building next to Scissorhands. And above the door, it says that it's wood carved, painted blue and orange, I believe.
Can you see my screen?
Yes, we
Okay,
can.
great.
Thanks. So we'll start going around. Ben, are you able to hear us right now?
Yep, I'm here.
Great. Let's go Ben, Mark, Paul for comments.
I think the placement looks right. I'm a little worried about that orange color. It seems a little out of character. Other than that, I'm comfortable with it.
Okay. Mark?
I agree with what Ben said. Thank you.
Okay. Paul?
I have a question. At the bottom of the stairs, there's a sign on the rail. What does that say? I can't read it.
I believe that's parking. Yeah,
Okay, all right,
parking sign.
okay. I agree on the orange question. I think it's a little out of character and not according to the guidelines.
Okay. So I guess my question would just be, how do you guys, it's the guidelines say that for muted colors, are we worried that it's too bright of an orange? Do we want to see a color chip? Nikki, was there a color chip submitted? Or any kind of indication of the exact colors? Okay. Nikki, I don't know if you can hear us. No? Or she's looking through.
She's muted.
Looking through the application, no.
Okay. Okay. This sign is located pretty far off the main, main way. This is the back building in that parking lot.
I know, Chris, it's pretty that's the Scissorhand building, right? So
it's the next one back from Scissorhands. I believe. Am I right about that, or am I right? Is this?
That's not Scissorhands on the right-hand side. That looks like.
No, I think I thought this was the building that is behind that, but.
No, you might be right, Chris. Do we have the site plan to confirm? I had assumed this was the Scissorhand building, but. So yeah. Scissorhand would be the one right on the corner, I guess, there on Old South. All right, you're correct. I apologize. Yeah, then it is pretty well buried on that property.
Yeah, I guess more important is just how do we feel about the
So I will add to my comments. Given its location and proximity to Old South, I have less concern about the color at this time.
Okay. We're open to any motions.
I would make a motion to approve as submitted.
I'll second that.
right, thanks, Ben. Paul
Aye.
and Ben,
Aye.
Mark,
Aye.
I as well. All right, thank you, guys. Let's move over to the Community Foundation of Nantucket. Is anybody on the line for this discussion?
I'm here.
Hi, Lisa.
Hi, how are you?
Good, thanks. All right, would you like to discuss that?
Yeah, Nikki, do you want to share or do you want me to share the screen? Okay, this application had been brought in, I think, a while back. And along with two other applications, you guys approved one application to update the sign over the front door. And then on the other two applications, I think there were some comments. So we've just resubmitted this one application to put a sign on the gable end of the building, and we did a little rendering. We will not be putting a sign on the Stop and Shop side of the building anymore. So you can continue to go down. I think there's some renderings there. So the idea was to put a sign on, obviously, we would like to get more visibility for our organization. There is a sign that faces the parking lot that's above the front door that has been approved that we're suggesting to match the design and the color. And then we also submitted a bunch of other establishments that have signs on elevations. That's just the view for the parking lot. That's the sign. The next page is the sign that was approved. Sorry. That was the last application that was approved to update the logo. And so then we just submitted some other signs in that same development on gable ends. That's not in the development, obviously, but just to give examples of other gable end signs.
Okay. All right, I think we get the idea there. Let's do Mark, Paul, Ben.
You're gonna start with me.
Sorry.
Yeah, I appreciate the examples that have been provided that are out there. I do feel like most of them actually were appropriately placed, and the couple that maybe I saw that the signs occupy the upper portions of the facade, I think those are examples where the businesses occupy the entire structure. Marine Home Center, for example. Lisa, are you able to tell us, are the offices occupying the upper levels of this building as well?
No, the offices are on the first floor. We did do a rendering with the sign right above the door on the first floor, which we're happy to do. We were just concerned that it would confuse people that was actually going into the space.
Yeah, understood.
The actual entrance is
around the corner,
which you see in one of the next renderings.
Yeah. I mean, I do feel like the second sign would be more appropriate, closer to the door, certainly understanding the confusion Lisa just raised, but we typically don't encourage signage on the upper levels of the building when it's not actually, the business doesn't actually occupy those portions of the structure. So I would encourage probably a relocation of this sign more at the first floor level where the offices are actually occupied, closer to an entrance.
Yeah, would we be able to put it below the triple windows?
I feel like that's better, and there are examples of that. And it feels a little less impactful to say the views from Pleasant Street and such. I mean, the Sandy Knox Johnson quote from a million years ago was always the signs are to locate the business, not advertise the business. So just bearing that in mind, I guess. I think those are my comments. Thanks.
Thanks, Mark. Paul?
This building is problematic. There's no other entry except around the front of the building. The entry at the bottom, down below the sign, I believe, I was gonna double check it, but I didn't. Just goes to the apartments.
That's right. That's correct. It's residential upstairs.
Right. So no matter where you put it, if somebody's relying on that sign to find the office, they're gonna have trouble. However, there are not that many people that are going to be looking at it because it's only visible pretty much from the parking lot in front of it with half a dozen cars. So I would say, if you move it down below the triple windows or closer to over the door, even though that's confusing, is better. By having it so high on the building, I think is a mistake and misleading. So those are my comments.
Thanks, Paul. Ben?
Yeah, I think it'd be appropriate below the triple windows, but up in that gable is too much of a billboard. Thanks.
Yeah, and then Lisa, I agree. I think we all have the same
Okay.
response. So if you have a rendering that's already.
I'm actually I'm just finding it. So give me a second. It'll just take me 2 seconds. I can pull it up and then we can attach that as an exhibit. Forgive me,
Sure. I
I'm
mean, I
sorry.
think what we could do, honestly, Nikki, if you're comfortable with this, if we're talking about centering it under the triple windows and centering it height wise between the top of the fascia and the bottom of the windowsill, I think that's a motion that we could probably make and have Nikki.
Okay, if you give me a second, I did find them.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm just pulling them up. So let's see, let me go on Zoom and then share. Let's see, option. That's the wrong option, of course. Option 1B, 1A. Okay.
So
See that?
I would make a motion to approve with the sign located below the triple windows and above the side entry as illustrated in the exhibit provided by the applicant.
And I'll email them to you, Nikki.
Second.
Thanks, Paul. Ben, are you in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, Paul.
Aye.
Mark?
Aye.
I am as well. Great.
Thank you. Thank you. I'll send them to Nikki right now. Thank you.
Great.
Thanks, Lisa.
Okay.
All right. Let's move on to Zero India LLC at 1 Cambridge Street, actually. We have a projecting sign, Marissa Collections. Is anybody on the call for this?
Yep,
The sign?
that's me.
Okay, great. Let's see, Nikki, can you bring this one up for us? And go ahead and introduce us to your application.
Sure. So this is revising an existing and also submitting a new. There are 2 signs, each at the separate entrances of the building. One entrance is at 0 India and one is at 1 Cambridge. I'll wait till it's pulled up to get into detail. But the revised application is the one where it's circled at 1 Cambridge Street. I could start there, but they're both for the same type of sign. It's a double-sided projecting sign at each entrances of the building on separate street faces. There's a couple of photos of the new building. That is not an entrance, that's just a stairway. That is not a proposed location. So it's the 1 Cambridge that's circled right there. And these are 2 separate applications, but they both kind of overlap a little bit. So that's why I'm explaining them together. So I'm just gonna let her scroll through the building. And then this would be the 1 Cambridge, the 0 India entrance to the building. So they're looking for double-sided projecting signs on a bracket, 20 by 15 inches, carved and painted. And I have 2 different versions because I know pink can be a concern. So one is white and one is pink. So they're open to whatever makes sense for approval. They've been working at this since April and, the season's almost over. So they're open.
Okay, so on our agenda, I only see the 1 Cambridge. Is that correct, Nikki? That all we can really take any action
So
on it?
two applications.
Yeah.
Nikki, is that,
I'm only seeing one Cambridge, but granted, I didn't do the agenda. I was away. I just got back like yesterday. So, but I'm only seeing one Cambridge on here.
Yeah, so there are two
Prepare the agenda.
applications. Yeah, so I submitted a check and the new application with a new signature and everything, and then I submitted a revised copy. So it's possible it's just confusing because they're the same. But one is a revised version of an existing and one is a new.
okay, well, we'll discuss it. I think the discussion will probably be similar for both, but we're gonna specifically discuss one Cambridge at the moment. Let me start with Paul, Ben, and then Mark.
Is this a one-tenant building?
Yes, both, this applicant is occupying both spaces in the building.
Okay. Chris, this is a question. Can they have two projecting signs? They're on different streets. It's,
Yeah, I think there's some latitude there. Typically, accommodations are thinking about, one wall, one projecting, but that's on the same elevation, so.
okay.
I think
If that's the case, I don't have any problem with either one of them. Oh, the color? I would agree the pink is a little strong.
Okay, thanks, Paul. Ben?
Do we have oh, there it is. So, yeah, I mean, I'm a tall guy. I would definitely hit my head on that. So, I have concerns about the height of it. So, it definitely needs to meet our
Mhm.
7'6" clearance, which I think will move it up much closer to the fascia of the building.
Sure.
But I think that, but other than that, I'm comfortable with it, and I prefer the white background with the pink lettering.
Thanks, Mark.
Yeah, I would agree with the color combinations discussed, white background, pink lettering. I'm fine with what we're seeing on the screen. Is there lighting proposed with this particular?
There's
Fine.
no lighting at this entrance of the building. The other side of the building is being renovated. So I think the contractors installed a bracket with lighting without knowing that it needs approval. So for the other side, we are open to whatever makes sense.
Because I see that yellow whip in their photograph.
Yeah, I think that the contractor did that without understanding that it needed approval, but we can make adjustments.
I don't necessarily, I actually don't take it. It was really more of a question in terms of the bracket location relative to where that wire is coming out.
Mhm.
I don't really have an issue with the lighting per se. So I think I'm fine with the proposal. The one comment I will make, however, and probably as part of the motion eventually, is that I know you have some temp signage right now on that building. I think there's a sign above the door. That flag that we can see in this photo actually also has the business name. Those need to come down.
Yep.
They haven't been applied for. We typically don't have the freestanding flags like that. So I just wish to see them come into compliance, and obviously any window signage or anything of that nature, if that's temporary, what have you, needs to be removed. However, I would make a motion, I guess, on the application itself based on those conditions.
So before we take that motion,
Yeah.
Mark, let me, actually, everybody has chimed in. My concern, like Ben's, is on the, is on the height. So are we talking about moving it up just under the fascia or centered on the door? What would be the preferred location if it is being moved up height-wise?
Yeah, you raised, sorry, if I may, and not to jump ahead of Ben there. I'm torn because I actually like I feel like it's a little pressed up high up under that eave, but I totally agree. It's too low.
Mhm.
And I'm wondering if is a projecting sign really the right thing there? Or it should be just a sign over the door. What do the other commissioners think?
That's why I asked over the door. I think maybe a projecting sign centered on the door would give it a little more reason for being high.
Yeah.
And it would certainly alleviate the head bumping issue.
Yeah.
Ben, you have any thoughts on that? Or Paul?
Well, I mean, I don't think it needs to be attached to the fascia. I think it just needs to be higher up on the brick wall.
No, not attached to fascia, obviously. It's just, yeah. Maybe it just needs to go up. Maybe I'm overthinking it.
Yeah, I just think it needs to go vertically up, you know, yeah, up in there somewhere where those kind of lighter bricks are. Centered over the door. I don't know. I kind of like it off center, but again,
I tend to agree with Ben on that.
Okay. All right. Paul, you have any comments before we?
No, I have nothing to add.
Okay, so
I
Mark,
agree, it's got to be 7 foot 6 inches over the
Yeah,
sidewalk.
yep.
All right, so maybe I'll amend my motion, Chris.
go for it.
So I'd make a motion to approve as submitted with the white background, pink lettering, and the projecting sign on Cambridge Street should comply with our guidelines of 7 foot 6 inch clearance to the underside of the sign to the sidewalk, thus raising the bracket arm. And it will vertically as proposed to the right side of the door. And
Okay.
all current signage that has not been approved should be removed.
Second.
Thank you. Ben, are you in favor?
all right.
And Paul
Aye.
and Mark?
Aye.
I am as well.
Thank you.
Okay, so since technically we don't have the other sign on our agenda, is there a photograph? Nikki, do you want to scroll through just since we're all on the line? We can at least.
There is a photograph.
There's
Both
a-
applications are the same, so I included a
Okay.
photograph of both.
Okay.
And so we're that, sorry, not to interrupt.
Oh, that's right. So technically we can't really discuss or vote on this. Unfortunately, it's not on the agenda, but I think it's safe to say that, you know, head height will be the same concern, just making sure that it's off of the sidewalk. And this will have to get voted on at a meeting where it's on the agenda.
Yeah,
So I'm not sure, you know, on the administrative side where that stands, but we won't be able to vote on this at the moment. So,
okay.
but Paul
Okay.
seems in favor.
Since I submitted this application, I just wanted to make a note. I was unaware, like I mentioned previously, the contractor where that yellow wire is installed a bracket with a light on it. So the bracket would be centered over the door. Again, that can be changed. I'm just telling you as in terms of an update to the application. I also re-forwarded the email that I sent to the HDC submission. I know that it can't be voted on, but I did submit it. That's all.
Okay. Nikki, am I correct that we'll just put this on the agenda for the next meeting? And
Yeah, we'll put it on for the next meeting. Because we can't vote on it. It's not on the agenda, so.
great.
If
All
there
right.
could be some sort of just comments on the design so that we know for next time, because they've been working at this since like April. So, you know, I just want to get them up a sign. So
We can't discuss it, can we?
yeah, we can't discuss it. I think if you listen back through the comments, you'll probably get a
Okay.
good sense of where we all.
okay.
So we apologize for that, but we'll talk to you at the next meeting.
Sure.
Okay, thanks. So we're gonna move over to 33 Main Street, Beach Crew. We have a representative from
Yeah, I'm
Link.
here. Good morning, everybody.
Hi, Victoria. So you've got a couple of signs here with us today. So let's talk about 33 Main Street first.
Sure. Well, this is a previously approved sign at the original approval location was the bracket at the corner of the building. Since then, they have explained that the entrance is actually through these green doors. Originally, I did not realize that, and they've provided the floor plan and interior photos that this is actually how we're accessing the lower level business. So they're just asking to relocate it over here to the left of the green doors.
Okay, is this a wall sign or a projecting sign?
Projecting sign,
Okay.
which is what was previously approved as well. That's where it was previously approved, the location.
Okay, so the request is to move the bracket from the corner over to the pillar sort of to the left of the door.
Just to be explicitly clear, I believe the bracket at the corner is still there, and
Right.
it may lead to a different space that is not theirs. But they would like to put a new bracket to the left of the green door and move the previously approved sign over to that location.
Okay. And it's a little deceptive here height wise. Are we looking at the same?
7'6" minimum, yep,
Okay.
and same size as previously approved.
Okay. Let's go Ben, Mark, Paul.
Yeah, I guess one we've approved this already at some point in time, so you know, I'm happy with this submittal. I feel like I've seen this before. This is deja vu or something, but I will just throw a shot over the bow that I have seen some questionable advertising signage from this new beach crew outfit. So you know, I love the idea of this new sign, but you know, please review the guidelines for sandwich boards and other advertising, because I think they're pushing the envelope a little bit. So
Absolutely, I'll let them know.
yeah.
Thanks, Ben. Mark.
Yeah, I guess I'm generally okay with it too. If that's the bracket arm that's suggested, it's a little atypical versus like the one that's already existing on the corner of the building. I like that's better. The one I think that's shown in the illustration. I don't know if that's just for illustration, or if that isn't the intended bracket. It's a little unusual.
Yeah, the more contemporary look is not what they're proposing. It's the more traditional one.
Okay, and then I don't know, Ben, maybe what you've seen is because there is signage up right now. I think over right in this location. I noticed it. So similar to the what we said earlier with another applicant, any non-approved signage should come down. Otherwise, with the traditional bracket, I don't think I have any other concerns. I do. Can we see the graphic? Sorry, one more time of that. Is there a border on this sign? Oh, there is. Okay. Yeah, I don't think I have any concerns otherwise.
Thanks, Mark. Paul.
I don't have anything to add to that previous comments.
Okay, thanks. Yeah, Nikki, I haven't forwarded it yet, but I do have a photograph of the sandwich board, so that'll be coming in shortly. Hopefully that'll be the last time we see it. Tori, pass that along, please.
Yep, absolutely.
Do we have any motion?
I'd make a motion to approve as submitted with the traditional bracket arm and any unapproved signage that is currently in place removed.
Second.
Thanks, Paul. Ben, you're in favor?
Aye.
And Paul?
Aye.
Mark?
Aye.
Great, I am too.
Thank you very much.
All right, thanks. Let's move over to 34 Main Street, Ellsworth and Ivy. Tori, you're here for this as well.
Yes.
Okay. Go ahead.
So I'll start, and while Nikki pulls it up, we previously approved a wall sign to match the same size and centered location as the neighboring business Southern Tide. I believe that was a 48-inch by 6-inch high wall sign. They are now asking for a projecting sign on an existing bracket that exists to the west corner or westernmost corner of the front facade of the building. It's the same detail as far as colors and font style, and it's just a square, I believe 24 by 24, hanging on an existing bracket. Closest to the alleyway behind or the whale.
Okay, who's occupying the Southern Tide space now? Are they still in that?
They're still there, yep, and this is another business to the right-hand side of Cohen and Cohen.
Got it. And do they have a projecting sign at Southern Tide?
Not that I know of. I believe I included a street photo of the 3 signs.
Okay.
Or of that street view.
Just from a historical point of view, I do recall when Cohen and Cohen came in, I believe we made a master sign plan for this building because it was multi-tenant spaces. And Nikki, is that something that you can easily reference if there is a master sign plan on file? Does the computer let you look that up quickly, or is that hard to do?
If if it's 2018 and like after, then yes, but if it's past like, earlier than that, then no. I'd have to
think
check the file.
I think it's earlier than that.
I have a
Yeah,
sense it's
So
before
I'd have to
that.
check the file.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I
My
think it's,
application, it's not loading, so I'm just, give me a sec. Oh, here we go.
okay.
I can screen share too if you need me to, Nikki.
So,
Why don't you screen share? I think because it's so big, it's like not loading.
Okay.
so I think it's important before we get into the review, I might have to just ask, really strongly believe that this is a master sign plan situation.
Okay.
Whether it's existing on file or not, we clearly have a multi-tenant facade and it's on Main Street. So hopefully it's not going to aggravate your applicants too much, but I believe we should take a closer look at what was thoughtfully reviewed before with respect to how these three businesses can sort of share that facade.
And in doing that, Chris, just so I understand, you'd like me to pull the former master sign plan that was submitted?
Yeah, I think it would be important for us to have that in front of us so that we're not throwing that out. The whole point of having it is to review, but also if it doesn't exist, we might find notes in the Cohen and Cohen application. I just remember the conversation included, how to keep this from looking too oversigned when the tenants were all trying to share that facade.
Can
But
you guys see the application? Sorry.
yeah, we can. So
Okay.
let me, that's my 2 cents. I
Yeah.
just want to let everybody have a chance to speak. I'm gonna go Mark, Paul, and Ben, just to let everybody sort of weigh in here.
Sure.
But I'm not
Sorry, let me
sure.
rotate.
I'd recommend Mark.
Is that bracket arm there now?
Yes.
Okay. And the proposal is for projecting sign in that location?
Yep, you got it.
And then is there a wall sign then proposed where the previous was? Is that
Yep,
coming?
this might not have been the right, sorry.
So interesting. So I would agree with the chair that we should review if indeed a master sign plan was, which
Yeah.
I think he's correct in that, before.
This
probably
is the
taking-
previously approved, that's the location of the former vis-a-vis.
Right.
And
Oh, was there a sign hanging from that projecting sign, or was it the bracket arm just there?
the bracket
Yeah,
arm is
right.
just there as far as I
Yeah.
understand.
Yeah. Yeah, I think,
This is what we previously approved for the wall sign.
okay. So we're discussing, sorry, the bracket arm, the projecting sign at the
Projecting
moment.
sign, correct. Yep,
Yeah,
right here.
I guess I'm inclined to hold comments until we have a review of master sign plan.
Okay.
Thanks, Mark. Paul.
I have nothing to add.
Okay, and Ben.
I could have sworn the vis-a-vis had a sign hanging from there, so I think, yeah, I'm happy to look at the master sign plan, but I'll probably be pretty comfortable with this when the time comes. So, but I'm happy to wait for the.
Do you
full-
recall, Ben, did vis-a-vis have a sign there?
I think I'm almost positive they did, and I used to walk. I mean, I walk by there. I used to walk by there all the time. I still do. So I'm pretty sure, but
Ben, I just pulled up Google Street View from 2019. There was, vis-a-vis did have a small sign from that bracket. You're
Okay.
correct.
So maybe the size restriction, 24 by 24 is the maximum allowable size here. I think maybe we should be considering how the pre-existing sign looked and if it is included in the sign plan, the master sign plan, size restriction wise. So
Yeah, I'll add that both tenants flanking Cohen and Cohen each had wall sign and a projecting sign as recent as 2016.
okay. So what do you guys think we should pull would somebody like to make a motion to pull the master sign plan, or should we be proceeding with this?
I sort of feel like, given there was, yeah, as recent as 2019, there were bracket arms in both tenant spaces.
Okay.
At the far left and right corners, and that maybe Chris, maybe that's what we did is we pushed them far out to the corners of the facade as not to crowd the Cohen and Cohen sign at the center and give it a lot of breathing room. Yeah, guessing a little bit, but I guess given the precedent here, as recent as 2019 and going back to 2016, I don't have a concern with the proposal, and maybe we should flip back and just look at the actual graphic again.
Sure.
If that's useful for others.
Yeah.
And I agree with Chris, it probably 24 by 24 proportion.
Can you guys see that?
Not yet.
Hold on one second, sorry. Share. Can you see that?
Yep.
You see that? Okay, so is that a black border with a white background?
Yeah. Yes.
All right, so there is definitely a black border on this, just because the
Yes,
Hard-
and you had asked on the wall sign for us to beef up the black border on the wall sign as well.
okay. So why don't we, Mark, you're still on the floor.
Thanks, Chris. Did the wall sign we approved all with lowercase, huh? I'm guessing we did.
Yeah, do you want me to go back to that?
We
I
did.
think,
I know that.
okay, no, you don't have to.
Okay.
I guess given we did approve that for the wall sign and this is consistent with that, I don't think I have any concern.
Paul,
I have nothing more. The white sign is a little bit bold on Main Street, I think, but I have no objections.
okay, Ben.
Is it me, Chris? Did you ask me? Oh, I think 24 by 24 is too big. I think that feels overscaled. So I'd be happy to approve this to match the size of the vis-a-vis sign that used to be there. My guess is it's probably more like an 18 by 18 or something, but yeah, I think we need to reduce the size of it by a good, 25% or something like that.
We'd be happy to do that.
Thanks, Ben. That was going to be my comment as well. These 24 by 24 signs do really hit you in the face. Not literally, hopefully, but I think 18 by 18 would be a good compromise. Would somebody like to make a motion?
So I'll make a motion to approve with the sign scaled to 18 by 18 inches.
I second that.
All right, Mark, we're going to give you the second. Paul, are you in favor?
Aye.
And Mark?
Aye.
Ben?
Aye.
Great.
Great, thank you.
Thanks. And let's move over to, now we have 3 sign applications for the Bagel Bar. Go ahead and just sort of walk us through. First one on here is the wall sign, a revision to a wall sign application.
Sure, and I do want to mention that Jessie Bell is also online to discuss this and answer any questions if needed.
Okay.
So you want to start with the wall sign, you said, correct?
Yes, we have the
And do we
wall.
want to start with the one that you've seen in the past that's a revision to the previous application?
That's what, yeah, the first one up is a revision to the wall sign. So why
Okay.
don't we let Nikki drive? Nikki, are you able to screen share so we can
I
get
think I asked to screen share on this one because of the photographs.
Okay.
That's
All right,
right.
let's make sure we're voting on we know what we're voting on, but go
Yeah,
ahead.
absolutely.
Revision to the
So
wall sign.
revisions to previous. I believe this is the one you want to start with. Okay, let me just go back to Zoom. Sorry, I'm just trying to find the Zoom and then. How do I get out of here? Bear with me. Here you go. Okay, can you guys see this?
Yes.
Okay, great. So our previous application was, to refresh your memory, was a round 4 foot by 4 foot diameter sign, and it had some verbiage underneath the term bagel bar. Bagels, schmears, and beers, I believe was the verbiage. You were leaning towards something that represented what was there prior, which was the snackle sign, which is included in our application here. And we have switched gears to remove the verbiage underneath the term bagel bar and gone with the rectangular shape similar to what was here prior with snackle. And this is what we came in with prior that you were not such a fan of. Here's the prior location of the snackle sign. The newly proposed sign is 9 feet by 2 feet, I believe. Yes. And it's at the gable end west elevation. And with that, Jesse, do you want to add anything further, or I'll defer to your comments?
Yeah, no, I think you just thought that the circular sign was conflicting with the window on the gable end. And there is precedent also prior to Snackle, Oath had a sign that was 9 by 2 feet. So just, I know that our client was pretty disappointed not to be able to have a circular sign because they are selling a circular product. But so hopefully this, revised application is responsive to your comments and yeah, so.
Okay, great. So I'm curious, this wall sign guidelines say that you can have 1 square foot per linear foot of the elevation. And maybe this is just a scale thing that I'm seeing on this picture on screen right now, is that it looks like that's more than half. Maybe it's not. I just want to make sure that we're not making a wall sign that is too large per the guidelines. In other
Sure,
words,
we're happy to accommodate whatever the guidelines dictate.
Yeah, and I'm not arguing if a 9 by 2 sign was there before or not, but we should just, measure that elevation. If it's 17 feet, we should make a 17 square foot sign per the guidelines. But that's just a review of how the guidelines read. Let's go. I've kind of lost track of my rotation here. Does it sound right to go Paul, Ben, Mark?
Sure.
Okay.
I would agree that we should make sure it's not too big. Other than that, I have no comments.
Okay, thanks, Ben.
Yeah, I mean, it feels like a billboard. It really, I said this at the last time. It's just, this is not the bagel bar. This is a public bathroom that this sign's hanging from. It's very confusing. But precedent is everything. So, looking at the picture of Snackle, that sign was much smaller than 9. It seems maybe taller, but not longer. I can't remember Oath. I feel like I don't remember what that looked like. So I think just, feels really big. It feels like it's in the wrong place, but precedent is fine. And if it just meets the guideline that Chris mentioned before, I'm fine.
Thanks, Ben. Mark?
I agree with everything that's been said. No additional comments. Thanks.
Okay, so does anybody want to make a motion?
I think Jesse has her hands raised.
Oh,
if you guys
Jesse, I'm
have-
sorry, go
Yeah.
ahead.
Just one other little piece of history. When I looked in the file, it said the Snackle sign, although we couldn't find an actual signed off approval, we found the application. And that sign was 7 by 2. So I don't know if that, feels more comfortable for you guys. I mean, again, that wasn't signed off on. I assume you approved it, but so that's just to
Yeah, I
clarify.
think it's actually nice to see this picture on screen right now, because it reaffirms sort of the scale that the guidelines were written to try to protect. If you look at this, it just doesn't have that sort of, that extra width. I think just really kind of makes it look more like it's becoming a billboard. The whole wall is a billboard, whereas this sort of fits the scale, in my opinion anyway. So I think it would be important to, if we could keep it within this, that would, I think, probably comply with the guidelines more, assuming this is like a 14-foot elevation here. But does anybody else on the, why don't we just go right around the horn again? Paul, Ben, Mark, any follow-up comments?
I don't know how big this one is either, but it looks certainly more appropriate.
I believe
But-
Jesse mentioned 7 feet, Paul.
Yeah, but how wide is the building? We don't know.
Looking at that, it does look like it meets the 17-foot width, but of
Yeah.
course we'd have to measure to confirm that.
I know, but I think this size is much more appropriate than what's on the application.
Thanks, Paul. Ben?
Yeah, I agree. I think 7 feet's the right length. So, that would be my preference to keep it in this scale.
Mark?
I agree with what's been said as well.
Okay. So, Jesse and Tori, if we were to get a motion here at 7 foot by 2 foot, hopefully that will satisfy them. Does somebody want to make a motion for this?
So moved.
So, application just revising to 7 foot by 2 foot. Paul, you've made the motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
Thanks, Ben. Mark?
Aye.
And Ben?
Aye.
Paul?
Aye.
Okay, I'm in favor as well. I think that's a good solution. All right, so we have 2 more sign applications on this building.
Which one would you like to do next?
We have a wall sign is up next.
Yep, the new, okay. Now let me go back to Zoom. Share. Visions. Okay. This is on the east elevation we're proposing of the building. Basically, when you come in on the High Line there on that second floor gable end. And I've presented the option for the round sign as an option 2, but the application itself is for a 48-inch wide by 12-inch high wall sign right here on the back side of the building, right here. And if we were to go with that's the elevation and the location we're proposing, without the window in the gable end, at the closest to the ridge on this side, I did propose the possibility of the round sign without the verbiage underneath, at 24 inches by 24 inches, which is similar to the size of this sign in the neighborhood. If you think that that's a better fit for this gable end. But again, the application itself is starting with the rectangular proposal.
Okay. For one thing, Nikki, I'm just going to ask, is that Surf Shack sign one that we've ever reviewed? I don't recall it. I might, is anybody on the?
I don't recall it, but I can pull it up. I can try to look for it in EnerGov.
Okay. Tori, I'm not sure that's an approvable sign.
Okay.
But, that's just.
No problem.
Another question is there any way that this is near an entrance to this building?
So do I have a photo of the entrance?
Meaning, is there any way to approach this building from this side and walk into the store?
You can walk right here from the back of it along this walkway. This is where the entrance is, I believe, right here.
Okay, so this is not at or near a public entrance. It's
Correct.
on the opposite elevation.
Yeah.
So that will potentially be problematic. And I think if we were to look through the history of this building, there may have been some previous applicants. I seem to recall other applicants looking for the same sort of visibility signage. Again, this is going through my memory, but I think that we've seen this sort of an application before that the guidelines don't really allow for signage to be located simply for the purposes of, billboarding an elevation that's not at or near a public entrance. But let's go, Ben, Mark, and Paul for commentary.
Yeah, I think this is problematic. I think the first thing I'm thinking of in my head is that if we were to ever approve this, which I don't think it's going there, but that's your two signs for the business, and you haven't put a single sign actually at an entrance to the business. So what illegal signs or other things are we going to see around the doors that continue to not be in compliance or wouldn't be in compliance because there's no. So so that's concern number one. And concern number two is just, putting essentially a billboard at the ferry entrance to the island for a bagel shop is just completely very out of character. I know there's a couple down over there, Great Wharf, that were very hard to approve, but were sort of historically accurate. So unfortunately, I think this is a non-starter, and I'd much prefer to see good signage at the actual entrance to the business.
Okay, thanks, Ben. Mark?
I agree with the comments Ben has provided. Thank you.
Thanks, Mark. Paul?
I agree too.
So, Jesse, Tori, I think that this is just really not something that the guidelines, would allow. And I do want to just put on record, I wish NIR would, maybe we should send a request to speak to the leasing office at NIR. I think that a lot of their tenants, come in as applicants and are looking to stretch what pre-existing signage has existed on the locations that they're renting. And, I think that's unfair to the tenants that the landlord who's ultimately responsible for these applications isn't doing a better job advising them up front. So I would like to put that on record. I'd like to have NIR just be more involved with these applications instead of just signing off on them as they're asked to.
Yeah, I'm happy to pass that along. I believe Jesse has her hand raised.
Okay, Jesse, thanks. Go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to explain the intention. I mean, obviously, they're just trying to put themselves on the map for the boating community and people coming in on the High Line. But I understand if your guidelines require the sign to be near or, very close to a public entrance. And just as far as the not, having the signs point in the direction of or being located right at, I guess they feel like, the seating is all outside. There's 20 seats for 20 people, and it's all going to be outside. You get your food, you bring it, you sit outside. And I think they feel like between the smell of freshly baked bagels and coffee in the morning and the people sitting outside, it's going to be pretty obvious where, they are. So I guess my question is, if the preference is to have this right above the public entrance, would this be permittable, the same dimensions, on the front of the building? And I was just looking at my phone, seeing if I could find, a
Yes,
picture
yeah.
of the front of the
I think
building.
I'll weigh in on that. Where the guidelines do have combination requirements saying that you can have a wall sign in combination with a projecting sign, or, that's the most commonly used pairing. But the idea is not to have two wall signs basically side by side. And if you were to look at the elevation from, say, the High Lines, the where you'd be entering the High Line, if you were to look at this building now, you're saying putting a sign here at Snackle and another sign to the left of it would be two wall signs basically facing at you. So, they might want to reconsider what they're asking for if the sign we just approved wants to be moved, or if they just have to consider how the guidelines suggest you use signs in combination. But I think having two wall signs basically side by side, so when you're looking at this building from Straight Wharf as you're approaching it, the guidelines don't want to see that. They want to see, a projecting sign and a wall sign, or a flag sign and a wall sign, or a menu box and a wall sign, or something that
Right,
is,
some sort of variation.
Yeah.
So I guess to that point, would you be amenable to them submitting a circular sign for maybe over that? Like at least the shape would be different then, and it wouldn't be so, you know.
So circular signs, there are circular projecting signs, and those are, you know, again, any sign is just measured by the square that it would fit in. So when we're taking wall sign footage limitations, we're not using pi r squared to come up with a circle. We're using what square does it fit in, and that's the wall sign. That's the area that it's occupying. Same thing with a projecting sign. So you could look at a projecting sign, making it round, just kind of figure out what size. I don't think it would be too big anyway, because if it's over there, you know, be hitting people in the head as they're trying to walk out the building. But there are precedents for wall sign, projecting signs that are round.
The
I think
projecting
bigger
sign
one-
is the bracket sign, correct?
Yep.
Yeah, something that
Right.
sticks off the building perpendicular.
Well, that would at least get people who are on the High Line
Um,
seeing the sign.
So I've spoken on that. Let me just let everybody else kind of weigh in. I don't want to be the only voice on that combination sort of consideration. Ben, Mark, Paul.
Yeah, I mean, I because of this location, it is a tough location. I mean, all the coming off the High Line and everything, it kind of really blocks the access to it. So, you know, if it was a wall sign, if it was a projecting sign, I think just something at the doors is what I'm looking for, and I'm kind of willing to see what works best for them. But it's definitely my preference would be something at the door. And with that said, unfortunately, I have to run. I'm sorry, but I can't vote on this one, I guess. So,
Well,
But
thank you,
thank
Ben,
you,
for your
everybody.
contributions.
all right, see you next time.
Thanks. Mark?
Yeah, I agree with what Ben said. The sign facing into the harbor for me is a non-starter. I like to minimize the amount of signage that we have actually facing into the harbor. Yeah, I mean, I think it seems like it only makes sense to have something by the entry. And, you know, with that, bearing in mind that a menu box or a menu posted needs to come through us as well. So, you know, whatever is eventually approved here, we don't want to see then a additional signage being posted to accommodate menus. That should be thought through at this stage of the game, not later. Thank you.
Thanks. Good point. I think sandwich boards are another thing that are popular on Straight Wharf, although not approved. Paul?
I agree, something ought to be near the door. I'm assuming that's the door we're looking at on the left-hand side in this picture.
Yes, right here.
There's not a lot of room on that wall. There's a window. I think that's a window next to it. I'm not sure what's in front of it. Is it a dumpster?
Not anymore, but at that time I took the photo, yes.
Okay.
Well, I also think that's the guardrail and the ramp, Paul, you're seeing that leads to the
Yeah, that's the
bathroom,
guardrail to
which
the bathroom.
the
Yeah.
maps on the right is.
All right. Okay. So over the door is the most logical place for an additional sign. I'm not opposed to the circle. It could be projecting or it could be on the wall, but those are my comments.
Yeah. So to be clear, circular signs aren't the issue. It's the size of them. And a 4-foot tall sign, a wall sign, can only be 2 feet tall per the guidelines. So that's where the 4-foot circle ran into issues. Okay, so let's vote on the what we actually have a application for, which is the sign around on the harbor side. Do we have a motion for that?
Do we, or does
Or-
the applicant just want to withdraw that?
Or they could hold for revisions, which would
Or
be
hold for revision, yeah.
Yeah,
easier.
Otherwise,
I think hold for revisions might be great, and we'll come back with the conversation we've just had.
Mhm.
Options for you to take a look at.
that makes
all
sense.
right. So
Jesse,
that
do you agree?
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Okay, great.
keeps your application fee in place and all that. So do we have a motion to hold for revisions?
Motion to hold for revision.
Thanks,
Second.
Mark. Thanks, Paul. Mark, you in favor?
Aye.
Paul, you in favor?
Aye.
I am too. Okay, great. And then we have a temporary sign for Bagel Bar that's on our agenda.
So this is just to get us through opening, and we understand clearly how you're feeling about the signs in general for the business. The location would again be on the gable end first floor, where we just approved the 7-foot wide sign. And
Yeah.
this is what they are proposing. Obviously, I know we don't like the verbiage below. If you'd like us to remove that, Jesse, correct me if I'm wrong. I'm sure we'd be happy to accommodate that. It's basically 4 feet by 4 feet vinyl.
Okay,
Yeah,
so, and this is obviously up. I've seen it.
I
it
believe
was
they took
taken
it down.
down.
Oh, they
Yeah.
did take it down? Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
I did.
I
It
did
was up.
send them a notice, so they took it down, and now that's why they're here to just do it the
Okay.
right way.
So this is really similar to another application that we had at the last meeting, for somebody up on Center Street, I believe it was. So, which, was not, it was found that it didn't comply with the guidelines. And again, banner signs, vinyl signs, for lots of reasons. Size, this doesn't comply with the guidelines on pretty much every level. That it could be reviewed with. So vinyl being discouraged or not allowed. Wall sign, it would have to comply with a wall sign size, which it doesn't. It is really, temporary signs are meant to announce events, not businesses, or banners are meant for events, not businesses. So I'm just kind of giving you sort of how the guidelines discuss signs like this. But Paul and Mark, let you guys weigh in. And I guess one thing I would, before we go to Paul and Mark, what's the timeline for getting your sign up? That's I think going to get approved at tonight's meeting. What's the timeline for just getting the real sign up?
I believe a minimum of a couple weeks. It could be a month.
Yeah, I mean, my smaller sign, I was told 3 to 4 weeks, so that's a bigger carved painted sign, and so I think it's minimum of a month. Right?
Yeah, I would think.
Well, let's go, Paul and Mark for comments.
And if I may, and they're
Yes,
actually,
go ahead.
they're having a soft opening Thursday and a formal, like a public opening on August 1st, so yeah.
Wood, I guess before we go around, would a wood sign that's just a painted white sign that has, I mean, is there a way to get a sign that is not vinyl and would be more size appropriate? Constructed quickly?
We could, I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know.
We
if
could
Tori-
inquire, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay, let's just get some comments from Paul and Mark. Hold on one second. Paul?
Yeah, I think even a sidewalk, what do you call it, a leaning sign or board for the opening is probably more appropriate. Because this is going to be too expensive to make it. A month from now is going to be too late. So I think if you use the chalkboard of some sort leaning against the building, saying the same thing, bagel bar coming soon, I think that would be, and with a time frame would be appropriate.
Thanks. Mark?
Yeah, I agree with Chris, our chair's opening comments on this. I think another option needs to be thought through. I don't, maybe it's the chalkboard as suggested by Paul. It's going to sit low and needs to lean against the building. I'm not sure you'd even see it. So I don't know what the solution is, but it's not a vinyl banner.
Yeah, for Tori and Jesse, it's just something that I think if, we start approving these, it's going to become everybody's
open the
preference.
floodgates.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's hard. So
So it sounds like if we were to do something in the 24-inch by 24-inch range, round wood painted, but not the permanent approved sign, that might find favor as a temporary solution on the wall.
I think so, yeah, or it could be even a rectangular sign that's more similar to what's been approved, something that might, obviously you want to build a long-term solution so that it will last in the weather. If you wanted to do something that was, temporary in nature and you didn't mind if, a month from now, like, in other words, I'm saying if you were to cut plywood, for example, and paint it, and I'm not trying to tell you how to do the sign, but something
No, I
that
understand.
doesn't
Yeah.
clearly violate, the guidelines on multiple levels, so that I don't think we can vote to approve this. I'm certain that would be a precedent that we can't set. So yeah, I would put it back in your hands to kind of figure out what you think that would, we could approve as a temporary sign. We all understand the nature of needing to get the business open, and you've only got a short window to capitalize, so we get that. Let me just go around, Paul and Mark. Paul, and then Mark, do you guys have any other thoughts on this?
No, I have nothing further.
Yep, nothing to add.
So we can hold this one for revisions if you want to come back with a thought. Obviously, by the time we meet again, you're probably going to be open, so
Yeah.
please apply for anything that goes up.
Yep. I think holding is probably the best case scenario.
Okay,
All right, motion to hold for revisions, I guess.
thanks,
Thank you.
Mark. Paul, thanks. Paul, you're in favor?
Aye.
Mark?
Aye.
Okay, I am as well. So,
Thank you very much.
all right, thank you guys. Ladies, I should say.
you.
Okay, I believe that concludes the new items. We have enforcement. Mark,
Yeah, thank you, Chris. I'll just dovetail off of the comments made by Howard Matz earlier, and for transparency, I am a resident of this neighborhood as well, and historically HDC has obviously reviewed every new structure and edifice that's gone into this neighborhood. It seems like they would certainly have purview through us over signage. And historically, it seems over the last few years, they've been modifying their signage. And by they, I mean the HOA, and I think there's a roads committee within that has sort of been steering this. And just most recently, as Howard stated, we've got more than a handful really, of posts that have gone up that I don't think are if I may share my screen, I'll just illustrate what we're talking about here. And so this is what's gone up throughout the neighborhood, an 8 foot, at least foot tall post, pressure treated, with these signs that look like they're purchased online attached to them. That's a detail of what we're seeing. These are not consistent with signs that exist in the neighborhood. They are, they look like something you'd see in suburbia somewhere else. And the white gates, which have been there, I think, since the inception of the neighborhood, but they've been attaching signage now to the gates. And again, I just feel like, I don't know that we're opposed to the intent of the signage. I think it's well intended. However, I think the execution should have come through the SAC and ultimately be approved by the HDC. And with that, some sort of more of a larger sign plan, which would note their locations, their design, versus sort of the ad hoc install that we're finding just being randomly added occasionally throughout the neighborhood. So I think I do encourage that our board notify the chair and the POTEN committee that they appear to be potentially in violation, and therefore they should submit an application as appropriate for existing signage and any proposed going forward. Thank you.
all right, thanks, Mark. So I'm just looking at, well, Nikki, correct me, we can only hear Mark's comment, but not have discussion on it. So thank you, Mark, for.
Yeah. Like now you can, because if it's leaning towards like enforcement requests,
Okay.
you can talk on it now. For just the member of the public, we wouldn't be able to,
Okay.
speak on
Thank
it
you.
then. Yeah.
Great. Thank you for bringing that up, Mark. So just reading through the guidelines, although I'm having a hard time finding traffic directional signs, there is a section that's intended to talk about that. And I cannot find it in the sign book. So I would agree with you, Mark. I think that, the posts the sign book does talk about what street signage should look like. So I think it's within our purview to send out a notice on this and have a chance to review it. So,
Nikki, would it be helpful if I email you and copy Chris on the contact where a letter should be sent?
Yes, that would
Okay.
be very helpful.
Yeah. I'll do
And
that.
then copy Leslie as well, please. Thank you.
Yes, absolutely.
and so it's interesting, at the meeting where I went to discuss the sign application, where the gentleman didn't agree with us, the way that I don't know if you saw that meeting, but Stephen Welch was kind of clear in saying that he would rather us try to get things as resolved as possible at our level before they take up the full board's time.
Sure.
So I think that, we've been given some direction here. I'd like to include Stephen on this, just because ultimately, as the chair, he should know what we're discussing, if it's anything that is a little bit, atypical. But
I mean, I think sorry, Chris, I think there's, correct me if I'm wrong, we've got good precedent of reviewing such signage in the past. I think Bayberry Commons is one where signs have been added over the years. I think Paul could certainly speak to that. I know we've addressed parking signs, we've exit and entry signs that have been required by the planning board upon their approval, but then eventually the signs will come through for our review. So it seems like there's certainly historical evidence that we've reviewed these kinds of signs in the past.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Through you, Mr. Chair. So would this fall under street signs?
It's not exactly, I think the street signs do, well, I'm reading that. It's kind of like traffic and directional signs.
Yeah.
I think it's a traffic sign. None of this new signage is actually street signage.
Okay.
That said, they recently modified their street signage with metal reflector plates, which is not, again, consistent with our guidelines. But
Yeah. So that's
Yeah.
section 4.16.
yeah.
Right.
Sorry, I'll reference that. What is that?
Oh,
Sorry.
So it's traffic/directional signs, section 4.16 and 4.16.1. And 4.16.2, because it speaks on the size and that it has to comply with the DPW standards as well.
Very good.
So we could discuss that. I mean, that I think that's where things like speed limits need to be, traditional speed limit signs, colors need to be what a traditional sign would be, so, posts, etc. So,
And it's, I think it eventually, when this comes before us in a more formal way, we can discuss it. The signage in that neighborhood, Tom and Evers East neighborhood, has always been sort of, it's an unique armature, but it's been there in probably the 30 years I lived in Tom Evers, but it's a white post and sort of a armature that comes off, and they had letters attached to that for the street signage, and that it was white and it was consistent with the gates that enter into the neighborhood. Now we're seeing different types that don't, should they be white? Should they be gray? Should they look like, I think those are all the things that we need to discuss, but I think what's gone up now is not appropriate to Nantucket or the neighborhood. So.
okay. Well, we can, so yeah, Mark, please forward that to me, and then I will make sure that Leslie and Nikki are aware.
Very good. Will do.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Nikki, any other discussion of enforcement that you want to?
No, not really. I was away, so I just got back, like I said, yesterday. I did receive receipts for the J. McLaughlin, so they did receive my notice. They sent back a return receipt, and also for that 7 Easy Street, the Compass building. I had sent them an initial notice, but I had to send them another one. So next up will be a citation, because they removed the sign from the door from the initial notice. However, they just put it around the front facade of the building and added 2 more signs on that railing, which a member of the public brought to my attention. So yeah, that's
the railing sign, and I'll look again today, Nikki, was gone yesterday.
Ah, Okay.
And I noticed across the street, so that's the boathouse by 10 Easy Street. So it seems like it's a mutual sort of tenancy. They did remove a lot of the signage that was across the street. I noticed was down yesterday as well. They had
Okay.
freestanding and all kinds of.
Yeah, they did, because I came back and these were on my chair, so I imagine they're, complying.
I'll review and send an update today
Yeah.
to Chris to forward on to you guys as well.
Great.
So,
And then for I'll be doing property inspections today, so I'll kind of just filter these in to check to see if the McLaughlin on Salem Street removed that fence sign. But I imagine they did because they sent me back a return receipt. So
Okay,
yeah.
good.
thank you. Thanks. Well,
Nikki, and may I add one more comment?
Yes.
Nikki, I just think you're doing a great job. Like this.
Thanks
I
so
feel
much,
like,
Mark.
I feel like operationally we're running really, really well the last, whatever it is, couple of years or year here. Having you on our team has been invaluable. So much appreciated. Thank you.
Thank you.
I second that.
I second it as well.
Are you in favor? All right, let's make it.
On that note,
All right,
should I make a motion to adjourn?
please.
All right, motion to adjourn.
Second.
Thanks. Everybody in favor?
Aye.
Thanks.
Thanks,
Bye.
guys.
Bye,
Have a good week.
everyone. Thanks.
Take care.